Ladies and gentlemen.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast, A Lion Among the Sheep. Great to be back with you this Thanksgiving week and a beautiful day. Still a little chilly here in South Florida. I hate to tell you guys up northeast, it's like in the 70s, low 80s. But Jamie, Coach Jamie, how are you today? What's going on with your day, my friend?
Hey, Scott, good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Looking
Yeah,
bright and chipper, a big smile on your face. Holiday
yeah.
week.
Well, hey, it's Tuesday. We're a couple days away from holiday for everyone. So it's definitely been a lot different on the roads the last couple of days. I think we all can appreciate kids being out of school,
Don't
able
have
to
to
move
wear.
from point A
You don't
and
have to worry about
B.
those kid zones, the school
Yeah.
zone. That's key. That's key.
That is key, man. Feeling great, man. So what you been up to? How's your week been so far?
It's been good. It's been tiring, but it's been good. Coach James and I were talking. This NFL season is coming down. It's a very exciting season. A lot of tight races in every division. I know I'm a football fan. I know Coach Jamie is, and I'm sure
Yeah.
most of you out there are football fans. We got the Ravens won last night, and that's to beat the Chargers, and that's a heck of a divisional race between the Steelers. Everywhere the Dolphins are trying to sneak in, and they
Yeah.
play on Thanksgiving night. That should be a great game too. But anyway,
Yeah.
it's been great. How are you? How's everything with you, James?
No, man, football, it is exciting, man. I have to continue that conversation. What an impressive win for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Barkley, Barkley, a beast.
Barkley was a monster. I think he ran for over 300 yards, or
I
he
think it
had
was 255, something
255, but
around there. Yeah.
yeah, but it's overall, I mean, I think
Overall,
combined.
pass. Yeah, combined, he was 300.
Yeah, I mean, just phenomenal. I've always liked his game. Thought, he was a phenomenal running back. And it just goes to show you, too, being in the right situation with the right team and the right system and everything that goes along could be the game changer, particularly in anything, right? But in this case, sports, it is great to see. And
Yeah.
Derrick Henry as well over with with the Ravens,
Yeah.
and says,
Johnson. That whole offense is phenomenal. It's
yeah,
quarterback
yeah,
Johnson and Henry. It's funny because we go back to Barkley. That whole New York Giants organization is in a wreck. I mean, the
yeah,
quarterback they brought in was it Jones? Was it Jones? He's gone. He just was released, and let Barkley go, who was a franchise, and they're in disarray.
yeah,
But it's good. It's good
yeah,
to see Barkley, a Penn State graduate, come back, and I think he's from the Pittsburgh area. I cannot remember quite. Maybe not, but he's a Penn State graduate, and he
yeah.
had that horrific injury his first year, and then he came back and he's doing well. But yeah, so what's on your mind today, my friend? I know we talked about doing a podcast on parental influence in sports. So what do you think?
Yeah, so I think this is a great topic. I think with both of our experiences in sports and working with professional athletes, college, high school, youth athletes, I think it's one of the most controversial topics because I think most people have, depending on if you work with kids, if you have kids, you play the sport, you play the sport, you didn't play a sport. So I'm really excited to dive in and really talk about um, how, as a parent, to set your kid up for success and some of the things that we both experienced as coaches working with athletes that we've seen that has helped athletes reach their peak performance, but also some of the things that could potentially be detrimental or from a mental perspective as well, hinder them from reaching their full potential.
Yeah, that's a good segue. That's a good overall view of what we could talk about today and what we will talk about today. It's funny, and being a coach, I've raised a daughter. You have kids, and you're heavily involved. It's amazing, Jamie. When you and I were in high school, we did not have these travel teams. It's a creation, and I don't want to say a phenomena. It's not a phenomenon. It's unfortunate. I think these travel teams within the last 15 to 20 years where parents feel so obligated to specialize. When you and I were in high school, we played football in the fall. Then we went to basketball or wrestling. Then we went to track and field. Then we went to baseball. And then we took the summer off. We maybe played summer baseball, back to football. There was not this year round specialization in sport that I see now. I think that's, I mean, most studies and most sports psychologists frown upon the specialization such a young age.
Mhm.
It's scary.
Yeah, yeah. And it is because I think if we look at studies and we both read a lot of data, and even the orthopedic reports support kids being involved in cross sporting sports, right? So, example,
Right,
if you play basketball, it wouldn't hurt to play soccer or play a sport that doesn't use the repetitiveness of using the same muscles and so forth. So, and I think we've seen more ACL injuries, MCL injuries. We've seen meniscus injuries, and I think there's a combination of kids being more dedicated to their craft at an earlier age and wanting to really excel.
yeah,
And so that comes with, in order to get better, you do have to put time into developing the skills that go along with it.
right.
But I think there can often be this infatuation with at all costs, not recognizing some of the signs to reduce training and also to be mindful, depending on the age of the athlete, to their mental health, right? And I don't want to jump on that bandwagon, but I think we all recognize that it does play a role in kids getting burnt out.
Yeah, being burned out is unfortunate, but it happens all too often. But let me tell you this: you talked about injuries, knee injuries. I saw a study just the other day where there's been an increase in ACL tears, 15% in the last decade, because and not just youth ACL tears. And when we were growing up, how many ACL tears did you ever experience in your sports? I don't remember anybody. I don't remember
Yeah,
any of my teammates, friends got ACL tears. Now,
right,
as they got a little older, they were, became a little more compact, a little more physical. It
right.
started happening. But as youth, ACL tears, MCL tears, LCL tears, and meniscus tears, this is just unfortunate. And you're
Yeah,
right; it's over repetitiveness of the same movements. And
yeah,
I've coached. I raised a daughter who played softball, volleyball, basketball. She was a swimmer. She played tennis, and she's a skier. I had her involved in every sport. And here's what I love. Now, I have, and I share with you a Facebook page from someone who the whole Facebook page is the daughter's soccer. The whole, now we go back, and I don't want to pick on someone, but here's what's sad. When do you think, you have to look at ourselves, and it's so hard, but the parenting, I think they
mhm,
become so obsessed with the success with the kids. They have this, I'll do whatever it takes.
yeah,
And they become so focused on one sport that the child may be good at, but at 9, 10, 11, 12 years old, you can't project that being, a collegiate athlete. I'm sorry. Some of the best,
right,
and you probably experienced too. I remember playing baseball. The best
right.
players at 12 years old never played varsity baseball. I don't know if you had that experience because they peaked.
Yeah,
But I don't know. I just see it's parents pushing the kids because it's almost like a self affirmation for the parents. I don't know if that's been
yeah,
your experience, Jamie.
yeah. So I agree. And so when I think about it, I think about as a parent myself in how my wanting, I think we all want our kids to be successful. And I
Right.
think as a parent, that's just something, unless you're a parent, it's really hard to relate to that. Just like not being a parent, it's hard to relate to what that life is like because it comes with different responsibilities, but also gives you different freedoms and so forth. So, but what I see most commonly is a lot of the times as a parent, you want things so much more for your kids and yourself. At
Yeah.
least that's what I believe most parents want.
Right.
And you become so blinded by your own personal actions and your strategy for helping them to achieve that.
Yeah.
I do agree there's no one size that fits all in terms of, as you know, there are some kids that you can yell and scream and they are motivated. And there are kids that if you yell and scream, they go into a shell and they become less productive. They
Right.
lose their confidence. I think as a parent, we are parents, but we're coaches. And
Right.
being able to understand your kid, not based on what you want for them, but what they need from you. And
Right.
I think that where the correlation is. And me as a parent myself, and you can relate, of course I'm going to want my kids to do well and excel, but I have to also keep in mind not no two people are exactly the same. So how do I
Absolutely.
suppress those emotions and feelings that I want them to be okay and I want them to excel into setting them up for success in a way that their overall life that they don't resent me because of her heart. But you see the opposite. You
Right.
see kids all the time say, my dad, my mom push me.
Right.
So I think we're all trying to find a common denominator. But I do
Right.
think, to your point, as you mentioned, someone that's the vital only focus they have. I see that potentially being problematic um, for the child and for the parent.
Yeah. I
So
agree.
I think, yeah, I do. I do. And
I've
it's,
seen that burnout.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Burnout's tremendous. I actually was associated with the young lady from Pittsburgh when I was up there. She was one of the best 12, 13-year-old pitchers like in the whole state. Colleges were already coming to look at her and recruit her at 13 years old. She woke up one day and said, I'm done. Her parents pushed her so hard all her life since she was 4 or 5 years old. When she could start making decisions on her own, she's like, I'm done. I'm not going to play anymore. And stop playing and sat. So this is what I think, and it's funny. I go back as a young tennis player, Yannick Sinner, real top, one of the top. I think he's top 20, one of the top kids out there on the tour.
yeah.
He could have been a gold medalist in skiing. He was that good. So people, if I hear parents say, "Well, oh, I don't want to have them rip their ACL skiing, LCA, ACL skiing," listen, most people recover. Barkley had an ACL rupture
Yeah.
tear. He's back 255 yards rushing. So we're at a time when our surgical technique is so phenomenal. And you know what? Yannick Sinner, who's one of the top tennis players, was out there doing downhill, Olympics downhill. So here's what I suggest. And this is what my research shows, and this is what my own belief shows. I suggest you should have your kid. And Mia Hamm, I'll quote Mia Hamm. I played every sport through high school. Everybody knows who Mia Hamm is. I have to say, oh, she was a soccer player. She won multiple World Cups. Mia Hamm speaks for herself. She played every sport she could through high school. Okay.
Hmm.
And she's a proponent of playing multiple sports. But we talked about this. I think children at least play two sports. One should be a team sport, one should be an individual sport. Team sports, you learn the socialization, you learn how to get along with everybody, you learn about the locker room jabbing and having fun. A individual sport, it's you. You can't blame
Right.
anyone else for missing a serve or coming in. You're not winning a tennis match, losing a swim meet. It's on you. So it becomes sole self responsibility. And so
Yeah.
I think you should have your child. And I see the people, the kids who play those sports. Like if it's golf, play where
Yeah.
it's you
Yeah.
against yourself.
Right.
Okay, those are the athletes I see who are more focused and more capable of taking it to a next level.
Yeah.
Um, so that's what I believe. And play every sport. If you have an athlete's an athlete. You don't have to have a specialization. And go to baseball camps and go to all year. If your son's an athlete, it's gonna be an athlete. Okay, so it's better to get out there and say
Yeah.
this kid's a well-rounded athlete than to hit a ball because you know what
Yeah.
he may fail in baseball eventually, and there's other things to fall back on because you can't project a 12-year-old success into high school and college. It's not there. The projection now colleges try to make that
Right.
projection in that aspect, the decisions and they try to analyze these kids. But how often do these kids who are five-star chips,
Yeah.
from Texas, you never hear of them again, and it
Yeah.
happens. So you've seen it. You've seen it.
Yeah, no, this is a great topic. I think it's many layers to this, Scott,
Right.
and I think this is the tip of the iceberg. I certainly would like to revisit this often because
Yeah.
there's so much that to be talked about and to figure out our help because there's so many like mothers and what I deal with the name, image, and likeness and
Right.
branding and
Right.
those types of in that environment. And I find it extremely common. Most of the parents, they're wonderful parents. They have some great attributes that they bring to their families, to their kids. But because they just don't know what they don't know,
Right.
they overcompensate. And meaning they are all over extreme because they don't know, they don't want to child to underperform or feel as though inside maybe I didn't push them enough. And so if we can help people have some real data, which we're about real data in a different perspective and have a conversation to help someone look at it and maybe assess themselves first and
Right.
then be able to look at their child and see, hey, every child is different. Let me make sure that I'm still telling my child after they perform, if they don't hit 2 home runs, they strike out 4 times. Hey, good job today. We just have to get better.
Right. Right. Right.
But at the same, you know what I mean? And at the same time,
Listen, there's a
yeah,
way, there's also a sports
yeah,
psychology. There's a way
absolutely.
to get that into your kids'
Yeah,
head that,
yeah,
oh, they did well, there's room for improvement. There's room for improvement. And that's
right.
something down the road. But here's the thing,
Perfect.
it can't come from the parent. And listen, don't take my comments to suggest these are bad parents. I'm not saying they're bad parents.
No,
They may
absolutely
be
not.
parents who want a little too much for their child and don't take an objective look at their kids, their
Right.
child's ability and what their future is. I suggest, the studies definitely show that, there's too much stress when you have one sport.
Right.
The injuries are there. The socialization, you learn from a bunch of girls playing soccer. They don't have the same mindset as someone playing volleyball so get involved and it broadens your social base and you're even at kids, they're networking. And they become
Yeah,
friends with a broad range of people. And it really does
yeah,
lessen the stress. I mean, stress
it
is
does.
these kids have so much stress on them nowadays. We have to reduce the stress to whatever measures we have. And that's one of them.
Absolutely.
You know what? And live life. Go skiing, go hiking, go
Yeah.
do something. Go have fun. Go to the jump park or something, trampoline park. Go have fun. And I want to harken back because we're running out of time. But like the Venus and Serena Williams family, the dad, we talked about this. He made the
Yeah.
kids live life. They have movie night. They did this, and he was a hard ass. Okay, he was a hard ass, but he saw something that everybody else eventually saw. That these were two phenomenal kids who were going to make it big. Now I know every parent. You said, "Well, every parent thinks that they do," but how many of Venus and Serena Williams are out there?
Yeah.
Not many, not many. But
Yeah.
yeah, so you know
Yeah.
what, you're right, Coach. Anything you want to end up with? We're gonna revisit this again and again, and I want to bring some parents on board too to sit down with them and see what their take is. But
Yeah. Well,
anything you have as we're concluding this pre Thanksgiving podcast?
yeah, we're gonna show some love for all of those parents that make the sacrifice to
Absolutely,
be out there with their kids and those because some of those youth programs, high school, AAU, it's a full-time commitment, and a
full time.
lot of parents, moms and dads sacrifice their lives for the good of their kids to have access to being able to participate. So big shout out, and I couldn't agree more with the points that you really focused on, Scott, about doing things, going surfing or doing another activity, going camping with your friends or going to the mall, going to the movies and still having as much life balance. Because when you're an athlete to some degree, as you continued your path, either collegiately or and if you're fortunate enough to become professional, your life is always different than everyone else's. I think the key is to try to normalize your life as much as you can with the right type of people around you, but also still having wonderful experiences.
I agree. I agree. Well said, Coach. Well said as usual. So, hey guys, again, we appreciate you coming on board today. It's been a pleasure. If you like what we have, please hit like, subscribe, and share it with your friends who are like-minded, want to do the best for their children, want to become lions and not sheep. And so, listen, we'll see you back here in a couple of days. Get ready for Thanksgiving. We'll see you back here on Thanksgiving Day. God bless you all, and we'll see you very soon.
God bless everyone. See everybody soon. Have a
Take
great
care,
one,
guys.
Scott.
Thank you too, Coach. See you in a couple of days.
All right, coach.
Zero.